So I have a working theory about this movie. This film has two writers. One was perfectly fine with just doing whatever the producers told him to write. The other was having some serious existential issues that he was working through about his career choices. You are scowling at me right now. I basically begged him to go because I really didn't want to see this by myself.
I could have been learning how to write a unit test over these last hour and a half, 2 hours. That could have been my day.
But instead, buddy, you went to go see Peter Rabbit 2 for friendship.
Don't make friendship out of this. I'm so mad.
You're not mad. You love me.
No, you can be mad at an action, but not the person.
Are you mad? Sorry, are you mad that I took you to see this, or just mad at the fact that you watched it in general?
I'm not truly mad. It gave me exactly 3 moments of enjoyment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Almost 2 of them involved the deer.
I mean, I will say that it's not what I thought it was gonna be, but kind of in the weirdest way. Cause like, if this is one of those movies that got pushed back because of COVID, because it was supposed to come out like around like this time last year.
It really shows.
It definitely shows that why the studio didn't really care if they pushed this one back. I'm still kind of surprised I waited until theaters opened to release it though, but I don't. They really want to turn this into a franchise, and it's a franchise that actively hates itself.
At least one of the writers actively hates writing.
Somebody in the process hates making these fucking movies to the point where like, the meta-narrative is filled to the brim in the most confusing way because it points out all the things that it then actively does with no self-awareness, and then all the self-awareness, and then back to no self-awareness again.
It's kind of like an episode of Community, early Community.
Except that was all intentional.
Right, but this didn't. Right, but that's not what I said. It was like it, not like.
Like that's the big difference. It feels like that's like that's why I feel like the two writers making this were just absolutely not on the same page as to what they were doing here. So
if there's one thing I could say about this movie is, it really needed focus.
Yeah, among other things, because I know you and I both watched the first one. I know.
Grudgingly.
I remember the most we got out of it was like I keep calling him General Ginger because I can't pronounce his fucking name.
He's General Ginger.
He's General Ginger in my eyes. Was like kind of funny in this weird kind of endearing like almost type A Drax kind of a way in the first movie, and Peter Rabbit was just a fucking sociopath actively trying to murder him.
Because like, from his perspective in the first movie, it's like, I moved to the country to chill the fuck out. Everything is making it so I can't chill the fuck out. That was the first movie.
Yeah.
And then I met the girl, and I actually tried to chill the fuck out.
And then this fucking rabbit.
And then the second movie happened.
And it goes in a very different direction.
Because at the very beginning of the movie, it's very clearly established that they don't understand the rabbits, but by the end of it, it's almost as if everyone was just like, fuck it!
I feel like there's a lot of that, and it really kind of happens like towards like halfway through like a third of the way into the movie when like the actual like, crisis happens, because the movie opens up with like the General Ginger and the girl from the first movie get married. I'll call her the author, so I don't feel like I'm like calling just her as the woman.
Isn't that Winona Ryder?
No.
What was that?
It is. I don't know the actress name. I know it is not Winona Ryder.
I know that lady.
It is not the Stranger's. It's not the Stranger's Woman.
Okay.
She's been in a bunch of things, but not Stranger Things. Anyway, they get married, and there's this whole very violent sequence right at the back, because I guess they think the audience, one of the writers didn't trust the audience, knows exactly what kind of movie they're making. And for this big violent action sequence, it was like, yeah, this is based on a beloved children's book series. And then turns out, oh no, it's a dream sequence, and then there's like that's quickly glossed over, and then they cut to a month later, and the Peter Rabbit books are doing pretty well for their self-published stuff.
I just also wanted to point out during the wedding dream sequence, the badger and the duck were just like making really suggestive looks at each other.
Hey, you know what? Like, Mass Effect Legendary should come out, we all fucked a Garrus. You know, at this point, I'm not really judging interspecies shit.
Okay. But they were totally eye-banging each other, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were. I'm not disagreeing with that observation.
I just want to know I didn't imagine that.
No, they were totally fucking.
They were eye-fucking.
They were fucking.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that happened.
This is the G-rated review, by the way.
Children better not be watching our show, that's all I'm saying. For all 20 of our viewers, none of them better be children. So... Where it gets really weird is that the crux of the movie is they get called into London because this big publisher found the book and decides he wants to publish it like internationally, worldwide. He wants it in a big old mega franchise. And this is where it gets really meta, really fast, and then it keeps going there in the most bizarre, like, self-loathing way I think I've ever seen. Because not only does it point out kind of how the characters were from the first one, including the fact that nobody really liked Peter Rabbit. Or maybe they did. Either way, he's a big jackass.
Jack Rabbit ass.
Oh, boo.
That's funnier than the movie.
And where it gets weird is where, like, the guy, I think his name is Nicholas or something like that, is like the publisher, and he couldn't...
Oh, right. Publisher man.
The publisher man.
His name was Nicholas.
And he says, like, I want to make yours into, like, a big mega franchise. We consider sequels. And the author's like, oh, not too much, except 23 books with a general theme around this. And it's basically describing the MCU.
No, because she was describing the actual book series.
Oh, okay, she's back to book series.
Okay, so, hang on. You're asking me why I know this. I'm going to explain really quickly.
I didn't ask, but go ahead.
To explain really quickly, I had to transport the Peter Rabbit book collection from Taiwan back to America for my nephew.
Ah, okay.
And it was a box like this big. And, you know, it was like this by this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I had to carry that in my suitcase back home because they were translated from English to Chinese, and my cousin wants to teach his kid the Chinese. Anyway,
yeah.
That's the point, right? Point is, there are in fact 23 books.
Okay.
with all of that happening. So that's what she was describing.
Gotcha. Okay. So we got that meta bit going on, and then the publisher starts going on like, right, what if we contemporize it a bit, put them like in t-shirts and like jeans
and a surfboard with the little baby guitars. Oh, you mean ukuleles?
And it's like, and what if we put all these like hip hop elements and then make it into a movie that'll be directed probably by an American, like all these. Basically, they were just describing their entire movies up to this point. Which, by the way, up to this point, a Green Day song has already played that was covered badly by a squirrel at one point. So we're already doing the things movies accusing itself of doing, and then like one of the rabbits straight up gives a smirk, fourth wall breaking smile at the camera. It's like, so you know what you're doing. Word for word, you're admitting how cynical this is. And then you just go back and do the cynical thing as if you just didn't point that out. As if you didn't just reveal the entire game. Which is where I think the more contemporary, the more the with it writer was going then like, oh, you're cool, whatever the producer says. All right, there's a band of There's a Gain Rabbit who says they know the Peter's father, and leads into like he's like also a bad seed and let him do crimes and shit. We're gonna make this a theft movie. And then we come back to the publishers who are just going like, yeah, we sell out. We have this butterfly author. We turn his butterflies into fighting zombies. This is a massive hit. We get him a big, huge car. We steal all kinds of money. We want you to compromise your vision as much as possible. And then we cut back to, okay, now the rappers are doing a heist. And then cut back to, I think we're really compromising the original author's vision. Should somebody be saying something about this? Oh, we'll have the boyfriend come in there and make a comment about him, how he's...
Husband now.
Sorry, the husband, right.
Yeah, general husband.
General husband. General
Ginger.
Husband Ginger.
No, Ginger husband.
Ginger husband. That's better, yeah. Ginger husband goes there, is like, you're compromising my wife's vision with your cynical, pretentious ideas. And the guy goes, yeah, but I'll give you lots of money and success. And then we cut back to, the Peter's learned a valuable lesson about not compromising how other people view you. So here's how I imagine this playing out in the writer room. It's the two writers, they're just sitting there, they're chilling out. One person who's been in this industry way too fucking long. I'm thinking like Red from the famous prison movie, Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
Morgan Freeman, Shawshank, he's like, I've been here too long, kid.
I wouldn't know how to reintegrate with society.
Exactly. We were just kind of locked up in here, like, I don't give a shit. So he's taking all his producing notes, like, yeah, have a Green Day song there, have the Rapids rap at one point, and let's have them like do all these kooky things, because that's what kids really like. It's like, alright, whatever you say, sir. And he's writing all this stuff. Meanwhile, the kid who's been there for just long enough to go a little batty, sitting there like, I wanted to be an artist. I thought I was going to come here to write great things. Real things were going to really challenge people, including children and adults, and we wanted to take his property, want to do something special with it, but then Hollywood came and just rubbed their shit all over it, and I'm so fucking done. It's like, don't go down this road, kid, you never work here again. Exactly! And he starts writing like the most cynical, like, shit, fuck you, dad, kind of, like,
okay. First of all, my vision of what happened. Are you familiar with Occam's razor?
I know of the concept, yeah.
Occam's razor is the basically just keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of the writers actually grew up with Peter Rabbit, which is the heist story.
Yeah.
And then the other one just like doesn't give a fuck. Like he is like so late on his car payment. He has alimony to pay. He's got a thing on his toe that's like green now. Like, he's got to go to the hospital. It's probably gangrenous, and he needs his fucking paycheck.
Wait, so is that the one that wrote the basic bitch stuff, or
no? That's the guy who's been doing that's the guy who does everything in between. The stuff that the other guy who actually really loved Peter Rabbit,
who is pissed off of this adaptation.
There's a guy that like actually kind of understands the flow of a Peter Rabbit story, and the other guy that's like, dude, my toe's falling off.
Wait, I'm confused. Is the person with the toe falling off, is he the one that wrote the meta stuff, or is it the other guy?
Yeah, he's the guy that wrote the meta stuff.
But if he doesn't care, he's trying to cash a paycheck, why would he go out of his way to say fuck you to every Hollywood studio?
His toe's falling off, Mike!
Well, the point is he needs to get the money, so what do you want to make them happy? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, no, man. But you can definitely tell that
they're just two massively colliding.
There's
here.
It definitely feels like there were too many cooks in the kitchen when they were doing this movie. That's the genuine feel that I get from this. That's sort of what this all narrows down to. It's that somebody actually read Peter Rabbit growing up, and it's like, yeah, of course I want to do this movie. And then the other one's like, man, I don't give a fuck.
I can imagine the one who said I don't give a fuck being the one to just write whatever the producers tell them, which is the more contemporary stuff. I can imagine the Peter Rabbit fan slowly losing his mind, is getting more producer notes of, it's like, yeah, but can they make a what reference in there? Can we throw that in there? Can we do a bunch of gross out jokes and all this stuff? Him, the one I can see him just slowly losing his mind in his windowless office, or windowless cubicle in the basement of Hollywood studios. and he's sitting there and he's just kind of like, this is not the story I want to be telling. He's having like his one bad day from the Joker. It's like, well, alright, fine. We're gonna write a producer character in there. He's gonna be telling them to come raise their vision. They're gonna tell the rabbits to go to space because fuck you. I love that stupid rabbit. You destroyed it. You horrible American corporate machine.
Alright, so my 3 favorite moments, because we really don't give a shit about this movie, right?
I mean, like, I feel like our vision of the creation of this movie is more entertaining than what we watched.
Yeah, so my 3 favorite parts of this movie, and only 3 favorite parts of this movie, 2 of them involved the deer. Because
it was in the first movie.
It was in the first movie, but this time he actually like gets to do something, which is kind of fucked up. That like the city of London at this farmers market is like no animals, but this deer is totally cool to hang.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. So the first one is this deer gets caught in a parachute somehow and gets flung away.
No, that's before. That's
after.
Yeah, that's after the probably most bizarre meta moment of this whole movie, which is like the climax of the film when they're all like the publisher guy and like the marketing team are all in this boardroom and they're telling like, how should we have like, we think the Peter Rabbit story ends a little too simply. What if we added like, ooh, they're gonna jump out of a plane and
there's a car chase,
there's a motorcycle chase,
and they have to fight to put away the bad guys.
And like all these ridiculous things, like that we would never end it that way, and then proceeds to do all those things in like practically in order. And I'm like, I can't tell if it's just insanely cynical or trying to be clever or both. But somebody just gave up right at this point. Somebody snapped. Like, I'm convinced there is someone in it. Like, I don't know if it's the director or one of the writers. Somebody.
The fucking best boy.
or the key grip guy. Or somebody.
The fucking CGI guy.
Somebody snapped and just splooged all over this thing. And like with some baffling choices of AI. There's a part where like Ginger husband is
like
CGI. Is CGI, yeah. Is rolling down the hill, and then like, out of nowhere he's replaced by CGI and he starts fucking bouncing down the hill.
It's like, almost like they took how was happening to him sideways and just like rotated it. Like
it looks so fucking weird.
It's so fucking weird. Anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
So the first bit, so the first bit is like this. After the whole whatever.
After the plane jump scene.
The Ginger husband lands into their Maserati, I guess. I don't know cars. And lets loose on releases the parachute, which gets trapped on the deer. And the deer goes flying. The second one also involving the deer.
It's because this whole thing ends with like the evil rabbit basically getting all Peter Rabbit's farmyard friends kidnapped.
Yeah. So they're all getting kidnapped, and they're trying to rescue all of their friends. And they're gonna go and grab to the deer, and then it's like a hunting lodge, and there's a deer head on the wall.
And then Ginger husband immediately assumes that they just killed the fucking deer.
Killed the deer.
And he just falls on his knees, and it's like, no, not the deer.
Because I also went there, I'm like, did he just fucking kill the deer, dude? What the fuck did he even do?
Would have been better if he just went, well, that's a shame, and just walked out. Cut to the next scene.
No, but even weirder was that the deer was just in the room getting sized up for his head mount. Like, the deer has, like, zero self-awareness of himself. It's like the closest thing to the meta thing they were pointing. It's like, look, let's hang out with those animals in there that don't wear clothes or talk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord. What was the third one?
The third one was the bit when he's trying to stop the
truck?
The truck from falling, and there's another bit of really weird CG.
They just swapped him with a fucking cartoon character, and the way he just rolled around like a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
So
Lord. It's just
this movie's bizarre.
This movie's.
It's a hot fucking mess, and I don't know how to interpret it. Like that's where really want to know the behind the scenes of this movie. I'm not going to look it up because it's not going to be better than what I imagined in my head. But
Excuse me.
I think there was a part, like, both of us were just done, was, and again, I also don't know if it's just the writers just hating their job, but there's a post-credit scene where...
there's a fourth now, I just remembered.
What?
I do have a fourth moment that I like.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Where there's post-credit scene where they have, like, the second book is published, and Peter Rabbit just goes, like, oh yeah, that looks like it leaves room for another one. Who knows? We didn't think we'd get this far. And we were like, nope. Just like left.
Oh yeah. No, when that was happening, I literally turned my back to the screen with the finger up behind me, walking away. I was just like, I'm so fucking done. But my fourth bit was the arc that the fox had, actually. I actually liked the arc with the fox because the whole thing is that in the first book it's like, I'm a fox, my only source of food are the small critters for me to chase, right? And then they're like, wait, but you have access to the garden now, you don't have to like actually eat anybody. And the fox is like, oh, but I have all this energy, what do I do? It's like, I don't know, man, go work out. And so he does.
He just lifts the entire thing.
He learns to jog. Then he does, like, the rope training thing.
Yeah.
Then he does tire lifts. And then at the end he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go swim to France later, bitches.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, I'm kind of more interested in that.
Yeah. This was a weird experience. I don't really know how else to describe it. Like, the first one was a fucking Saw movie, and I don't know what the hell this one is.
It was like...
This feels like a resignation letter of some kind. I don't know, maybe I'm projecting what I want to be true.
I really just feel like they were like, alright, just write anything. Okay, but it has to be an hour and a half long. It's like, hour and a half? It can't just be 80 minutes? That's like a whole nother, like, 17 pages that I might have to do.
Oh, man. I don't know. Like, this feels bitter to me. Like, more than lazy. I feel like somebody pissed somebody off, and they knew they were going to get away with it, so they just did whatever they could and see where they could just slip by the producers. And the producer, I'm also going to guess, was named Nicholas. Just did not get the joke and thought it was being 100% serious and like, wait, you're really gonna make this? It's like, yeah, totally, it looks great. It's kind of like when Shrek was made as a fuck you to Disney. And
oh, really?
Yeah, like Shrek was made as a bitter hatred of like Disney higher ups to the point where Lord Farquaad was like designed after someone who worked at Disney. I forget their exact name, and it's not a coincidence that his name rhymes with fuckwad.
Okay.
So yeah, Shrek is bitter as fuck. Peter Rabbit 2 is bitter as fuck. There is gonna be like a subgenre of children movies made by extremely bitter old men who just never got over it.
Like incel children movies.
Incel children movies. Well, just I want to see like an IMDb list where just like children's movies with really, really bitter meta narratives.
Oh man. Okay,
I think that's all I gotta say on this.
I don't have anything to say about this movie.
Like,
it's just like that was it. Like the deer was pretty much the funniest bit.
I feel like again, the only interesting thing to talk about this movie is just our speculation of what the fuck
Please
happened.
don't make me watch Peter Rabbit 3.
I make no promises.
You please.
But at this point, we've been through the saga together. We have to see it through all the way to the conclusion.
Okay, are you familiar with the phrase tap out?
Yes, but it doesn't
tap it.
I didn't say you can tap
Tap
out.
out.
No,
I'm tapping out! I'm tapping out!
This is not how that game works, Howard.
That's what we should
All
call it.